Today I want to talk about the topic of physical attraction in dating. This might be something that applies to you today, maybe in a year, maybe in 10 years, I don't know. But I wanted to talk about this for two reasons. The first reason is that a gal asked me, she said, if I'm not physically attracted to a guy and he asked me on a date, should I say yes to him? And another reason is because a couple weeks ago on Instagram, I asked for Crazy Chiquita video ideas that you guys would want me to cover. And a gal said, can you talk about height differences in dating? She said, I'm 5'7" and my boyfriend is 5'8". Then she wrote, why would God do this to me? With a sad face. And I really want to address that. The whole topic of physical appearance in dating and in marriage. It's something I'm very passionate about and have been reflecting on a lot lately. First disclaimer, I'm not encouraging you to marry a man you are not attracted to. Second of all, I am not encouraging you to date and or marry a man who does not take care of himself. I wrote about this topic on Instagram once and a lady said, you tried kissing a man with bad oral hygiene. I am not encouraging you to date or be attracted to a man who does not take care of himself. And lastly, I am not saying the reason that you are single, if you are single, is because you are shallow. And lastly, a lot of women say, oh, you can't talk to this. Your husband is very handsome. That, when it comes to this topic, is neither here nor there because that doesn't diminish the truth about what I'm about to say. It doesn't take away from this truth at all. You guys saw me in my gender reveal video last week. Thanks for all your supportive comments and love for this little guy. It was really, really sweet of you, but you saw me getting emotional in that video, not because my husband is handsome, but because my husband is a really good man deep in his heart. So that's all my disclaimers. Let's move along. My thesis statement here is this: be open. Be open. And this goes for men and women. I've had long conversations with both men and women regarding this topic of physical attraction, but that's what I want to encourage you and kind of unpack today, is to be open when it comes to this idea that you've maybe had, if God calls you to marriage, of what your future husband would look like versus what he may look like in reality. Because physical attraction is important in dating and marriage, certainly. I'm not going to, just throw the baby out with the bathwater. That's an important thing. But I still talk to women a lot, often, who write a man off, before ever getting to know anything about him because of his height, right? Like this gal who wrote here, because of his height, because of, he has crooked teeth, or he's losing his hair, or a million different things. They just pass him off because he doesn't look a certain way, or he's not their type, the type that they've always wanted to date and or marry. Gals who want to date a guy who looks good in Instagram photos or would look good in wedding photos, or a guy who their friends would think is really attractive. There's all these different kinds of things that women bring into, and I have conversations with women about, in them saying he's not this, he's not that, and it has to do with physical appearance. So the first answer to the question is, if you are not attracted to him physically, should you still go on a date? My answer to that question is yes. Absolutely, you should be open to getting to know him. Why? Because marriage is a real, raw, messy, beautiful commitment that has everything to do with who someone is. When we're looking at long-term commitment, fidelity, faithfulness, all those different kinds of things, that unity, that teamwork, when we're looking at that long-term, right, this long-term commitment, it has to do with the substance of a person. And when you say yes to going on a date with a man that you may not necessarily be attracted to or feel meh about, the way that he looks, you get to look you get a look inside at who he is, right? You get to, whatever kind of date you go on, right? There's a zillion different options for dates you could go on, but you get to look inside and see who he actually is, right? And, you've maybe been in situations where you meet a guy and, he's generally attractive maybe to you, and then he says that he loves Jesus and he's super into his faith, and your attraction to him goes like 10 levels up, right? Because he talks about who he is, and you get this look inside of his heart on the inside. Or you go on a date with this man that you feel meh about, or whatever, or he's not as tall as you would hope, or whatever it is, and then he starts talking about his life as a teacher and how much he cares about his students and how their well-being and their success and the wholeness of them as a person, how important that is to him. And all of a sudden you're like, oh my gosh, Like, how attractive is that? Like, that he has such a heart for these young people that he cares for. Or, there's so many different situations, and these are real life things. A man might share with you that he's been caring for his sick mom. His mom has cancer, and he's been caring for her by himself for the last couple of years. And all of a sudden, you just have this look into the substance of who this man is, and it changes everything. And so when we get this look into the interior, it can have such an impact on the attraction that we feel toward this man that's sitting in front of us or playing putt-putt with us or whatever it is. And I've been talking with married friends about this and asking women who are married about different situations in their life where who their husband is mattered so much more than what he looks like. And they reference so many deep and real parts of marriage, the miscarriages that they've been through, the times where they had surgery and their husband had to bathe them and clothe them for months on end, the times when they've totally forgotten who they are and been in despair, and their husband had to walk with them and remind them of the truths of who they are and who God created them to be. These scenarios that happen again and again in marriage, right? When your spouse falls seriously ill, when someone loses their job, or you both lose your jobs and you're struggling with deep financial hardship. So many of these real, raw parts of marriage, right? Marriage is beautiful and awesome and fun. You guys know Daniel and I have a ton of fun, but there are also these, like, a lot of parts where it's about teamwork and it's about that fidelity and it's about getting through together. And as, Daniel and I look at this long-term commitment of life, of being together, we're going to go through a lot together, right? Praise the Lord. All 4 of our parents are living. Both of our moms and dads are alive. But that will not always be the case, and we will have to walk together in grief as we raise these 2 boys that the Lord has entrusted to us. There's going to be some highs and there's going to be some serious lows. And as we choose to go through those things together, does our outward appearance matter at all in any of that, in any of these moments, seasons, years where we're going to have to get through it together? The inside is what matters. The inside is what is going to make our commitment to one another keep going on in strength and in love and forgiveness and in mercy. Now that question of how, that question comes up, how long should I give it, right? If I go on 2 dates and 3 dates and 4 dates, and I'm still not physically attracted to him, do I just let it go? And I think that's a good question for you guys. I have my own life experience, but a lot of you have different life experiences. And so I would love for you to offer your, if you have life experience in that area of, because I've met so many women who said in the beginning, I was not attracted to my husband at all, and I ended up marrying him. I mean, I can't tell you how many women I have met who would tell you that, who have told me that. And so that timeline is so different for everybody. And it's some friends who have said, I just got these glimpses of who he was. And by the 5th and 6th date, I still wasn't physically attracted to him, but I grew in attraction with what he shared and who I saw was there on the inside, in his heart and in his character and his integrity, because that's what I was looking for. These women that I talked to, they say, I wasn't attracted to my husband at first, but what I was looking for was a man with integrity and heart and character and ambition. And as I got to know him, I saw those parts of his heart, and I knew that that's what I was looking for, more than a man who is 6'2" or has perfect teeth. Another avenue by which you could take is maybe you want to get to know him, but you don't want to, go on dates, and you can suggest starting with a friendship. And there's nothing wrong with that. To see, I'm going to get to know this guy. I'm going to get to know who he is. My attraction to him might grow, right, over time, and it might not. And either way, that's okay. But in growing in friendship, I can give myself the opportunity to see who this man is and kind of what he's made of, and grow in authentic friendship with him along the way. And so with that advice, to be open, that attraction might grow, it might not. But as long as you're open, I think you give yourself the fair opportunity to not pass up a guy who, if it was God's plan for your life, to stand in front of you and say vows to you, to commit his entire life to you, say, I will love you and honor you in sickness and in health for as long as I live. That he would be there for you day and night, your best teammate, your best friend, and that whatever he looks like on the exterior would just fade away, and who he is as a man, as a person in his soul, would matter so much infinitely more than the exterior. I don't want you, because of any of those reasons, to miss out on a man who would make that kind of lifelong commitment. A commitment of beauty and honor and strength and character and virtue. I referenced an Instagram post that I wrote a while ago, and I wanted to close out with a couple of sentences that I wrote in that regarding this topic. I said that if God's will for your life is to get married, is marriage. He may not look like what you thought he would, but his heart may look like everything that you hoped it would. And in the inevitable storms and suffering life brings, you won't care if your husband is Instagrammable, and I mean that with every bone in my body. You will care that he has integrity. When life hands you lemons, you will not find yourself saying, "Thank God for my husband's good looks." You will find yourself saying, "Thank God for my husband's good heart." Guaranteed. And that's why my advice to you is to simply be open, because you may be very, very surprised. That's all for today. Let me know what you think. I will talk to you soon.